Hello and welcome to another Streamteam book talk. I'm very excited to be talking about this one. Mistborn is one of my favorite books, and I'm excited to talk about it. First off, let me bring in my guests. First off, Neph Champion.
行くわよ。来世の試練よ。
Good afternoon, everyone. What was that? The opening?
That's from The Witcher.
Oh, okay.
You've never seen it, and I don't know if you want to see it. I don't think it's up your alley.
Just from that one clip, no.
Yeah. It's very violent. Very, very violent. Not very much not to your liking. And there's like a lot of like not safe for work stuff in there as well.
Yeah.
Like really, really big not safe for work stuff. So we also have our resident resident. Well, I was going to say class SE person. That works too.
Not classy?
Well, she's British.
That's true.
Being a Brit automatically lends you at least like +5 to class or something, just by virtue of having the accent.
Yep, that's me.
Hey.
Hello, Becca.
Ever in my life been called classy before I met you guys. It's just not a thing.
Well, you are rather classy. Bonjour, Johan.
So, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, what can you do? Anyway, so I have the Prezi made. So I'm just sharing it around in the various Discords I'm in. We'll see how this goes. So, first kind of thing, overall thoughts. Neph, you're a first-time reader. The book? What do you mean?
Is the book any better? What?
Then what? I'm a bit confused, a little bit unclear.
Yeah.
The book is very good. I definitely.
Yes, it's very good.
Very good.
It's riveting. I got through it in, I think, a week, minus the time I took off because someone had done something dumb.
Yeah, I feel ya.
Yeah, it didn't take me very long to get through this book. It was very easy to read. I love all the characters, especially Kelsey or Vin.
Yeah, they're great. Becca. So how did you? So I recommended this to Neph, and so I know how she got it. But how did you find this book?
Her internet's being Tismy. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So I'll just say how I found it. So I actually found this after Stormlight Archive. So I read Stormlight Archive 1, Way of Kings, and I was just like, after I finished The Wheel of Time, Well, actually, it was just before the last Wheel of Time book came out. So, so there was that. And I wanted to just kind of read some more fantasy stuff. So I listened to this, and I very much enjoyed it. I knew a lot of what was like, at least like the basic plot points, since I just saw it on Wikipedia, and since I was just like, TLDR, didn't it, TLDR stuff. Thankfully, like it wasn't very detailed at that point in time. But I was able to find it and find it and watch it. Well, we were eventually able to get the audiobooks because that's how I primarily consume content.
Yeah, that's how I consume a lot of content too.
Yeah. So I definitely have to say that like Mistborn is a really solid magic heist book.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually very interesting how
Hold that thought. Becca
go for
thinks
it.
she's fine now.
Okay. Y'all good over there? She's muted, so.
Oh dear.
Hmm.
Hmm.
You good over there, Becca? Hello, her.
Hello, Tarek.
Oh, Tarek fixed my internet, see?
Oh, he's your handyman.
Oh, all you needed was your husband, though, then.
Husbando fixed everything. Husbandos and waifus fix internet. It is now part of the lore, I suppose. Gotta bring in that weeb stuff if only to North. Right, Becca.
Okay, so your overall thoughts, Becca?
She's dead.
Maybe not.
Hello.
I don't.
Am I dead? I don't know. I fell out again.
Oh, you're now not dead.
Oh no!
Okay.
Oh,
now
thank
I'm not
goodness.
dead. There we go.
Okay.
I'm dying and then coming back. I'm a bit like Kelsey.
Oops.
Yeah, so full spoilers for the whole thing, yeah. For the whole book. Yeah. This will probably be for about an hour and hour and a half to 2 hours, since I need to leave at about 3 to go to my cousin's wedding reception. I think a part of the thing about this book that is, Becca, what are your, like, how did you find it, and what are, like, your overall thoughts about Mistborn?
So Mistborn is my favorite book of all time. Full stop. It's my favorite thing. I love it so much. And the funny thing is that when I first found it, I didn't know virtually anything about Brandon Sanderson beyond that I knew he was one of the bigs of fantasy. I was pretty into Brent Weeks at the time, and I remember him making snarky comments on his blog about Sanderson, and I was like, I guess I'll try out one of his books. Picked up Mistborn on a chance, and was determined that I wouldn't be drawn into the Mistborn or drawn into like the Sanderson cult. And then I read it in a day.
Obviously, that failed. Sorry. Obviously, that failed, though.
I think she died again.
Yeah, she might have.
Oh, good. Yeah, internet's being really tismy, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh my god, why is it happening today? It was fine yesterday.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Oh my god.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, that book was interesting for completely different reasons. And interesting
it
does
brought
not
me
mean
here.
good. So.
I'm not sure that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to get a lot of effusive love for this book. I imagine that I think we'll have a good time with Well of Ascension, and I think that we're going to have sad feelings about Hero of Ages.
We probably are.
Yeah. Admittedly, like I was just like blown away by the ending of Hero of Ages. I thought it was the best thing I'd ever read. Even better than the Wheel of Time ending.
Oh no, we really did lose Becca this time.
Oh,
She
dear.
ran out of internet, yes. To use Devil's meme.
Yeah. So to kind of summarize the plot really quickly, basically, Mistborn is set in a post-apocalyptic fantasy world where the world is ruled over by this immortal god king named the Lord Ruler, who is basically able to, apparently is a god level allomancer who has the ability to live forever. Nobody's been able to kill him for whatever reason. And so
I think I figured out what he was before we got to the big reveal.
We'll save that for a little spoiler discussion
Yeah.
at the very end.
Yeah.
But the protagonists of this are a group of very, very disparate criminals who have been paid by the rebellion to rob the Lord Ruler's god metal stash, or at least very valuable metal stash called Atium, which basically the metal is very valuable because it allows Mistborn to see into the future.
Yeah,
And
that gets very, very confusing.
Yeah. Just wait. It's gonna get weirder.
Oh yeah.
The god metals, god.
Yeah. Gold is very strange as well.
And I think there was one more pair that hadn't been talked about. But that's later. That's way later in the book.
Yeah. In total, there are 16 medals, 2 of which do not get revealed in this book series.
Oh, so they get revealed in the second trilogy.
Yeah, the Wax and Wayne books.
Okay. I can't wait to get there then.
Yeah, you will like Wayne especially.
Yeah,
He's crazy.
Yeah, and I listened to a sample, the 5-minute sample on Audible before buying each of the books just to make sure. And it's just the characters just caught me, and I was going, "Oh man, I can't read it yet because I've only read because I'm in the middle of Mistborn." Ah.
Yeah. You okay there, Becca? It seems as though your internet health is on critical.
It's I don't know what's going on. It's like it's being a dick. It's really annoying.
Are you running low on internet gas? Is that it?
No idea. It's like the sun came out and the internet stopped working.
Yeah.
Like
We
okay.
need to call your repairman.
Yeah.
Tarek, where are you?
Get him over it. God damn it! Yep.
Well, are we sure that there
What
aren't
do you mean
really
across
other?
an ocean?
Not gonna make any plumbing jokes. Not gonna make any plumbing jokes.
Okay. Yeah. Don't. Done.
Yeah. It's hard. It's really
You're okay there. You having fun?
Yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah. Yep.
Goodness, Johan.
I can hear it. Yeah. To be honest, I have no idea what the word block means. I don't understand what that means.
Your general vicinity. Like
Yeah.
it's block, like
guess.
around the block, like the phrase around the block.
I sort of. It's like a measurement of distance that I've never used. So I'm like, I don't know what that
very
means.
American.
Okay.
It's very Yankee. It's very Yankee of us.
Yeah. It's basically I'm actually not sure how long a block is, but
it's like 3 to 4 houses.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah, 3 to 4 houses long.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And one of them,
Fair enough.
Kelsier, and one of the members of the crew, Kelsier, manages to, with the help of his friend Doxson, finds a young Mistborn named Vin. He's also a Mistborn, and he decides to take her on and try to train her and bring her out of her squalor that she's been living in, because she doesn't really know the full aspect of her power, since she's one of the slave class called the Ska.
Yeah.
And so that is the major plot of the story, is they're trying to rob the Lord Ruler and eventually, hopefully, kill him.
Which, Crow's not finished. Should we say this?
I have a whole thing at the end, which is the main section at the end of the main twist. So when that happens, we will say, leave now or forever be spoiled.
Yeah. And, well, it's better not to be spoiled.
Yeah,
I
would agree.
Most of the time, I don't care, especially if I'm trying to write about something and I've forgotten information. I'll go spoil myself for it because I need the information and I don't really care about the canon story. But here, no. Definitely don't let yourself get spoiled. Don't.
I have like a rule of basically like spoilers are a thing. And there are some books that it's okay to be spoiled compared to others, but Mistborn is the one that of all books in existence, you don't spoil Mistborn.
No.
Which is why I spent a while trying to talk my dear sweet bard into not watching this stream, but he wouldn't listen. So.
Okay. I will let that particular joke unsaid and let everybody in the chat say it for me.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, feel free to make the jokes in the chat.
Yeah, feel
Oh,
free.
oh dear. Oops.
Oh, good. I don't even need to make the joke. I can just let it be. That's good. But I can still get a funny reaction. It's actually nice. That's way more satisfying and way more clever. Okay, I'll have to use that. I'll use that in future. Yeah. So, the world of Mistborn. This is one of the most. I don't know if like. It's definitely a different kind of fantasy universe because instead of like the typical like fields and fjords of uh, um, like medieval Europe that are generally in there for a lot of the settings, or in the case of George R. R. Martin, like very like medieval mishmash of Asian, Mongolian, Middle Eastern stuff for like Essos. We get basically 18th century France.
Interesting.
In terms of like the fashion and the technology level, save for gunpowder.
Yeah.
Since Luthadel is a megacity, it's
It
huge.
is. Yeah.
And there's a lot of like Gothic inspired architecture all around the place.
I think a comparable city for the real world would be Angkor Wat, I think.
It's
Really?
it's
Okay.
That was a mega city.
Okay.
So, I mean,
Okay.
the temple at the center was called Angkor Wat, and then the city sprawled for miles and miles, or kilometers.
it's I
Yeah.
honestly I count the world of Mistborn, and again, like I had no idea anything about Sanderson. Oh. We're all dropping out. It's your turn, Neph.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it sounds a little bit better since.
Oh, wow, Dunn sounds like himself.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
really?
does.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Lovely.
There we
I
go.
sound better. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is up to the person's discretion.
Yeah. Oh no, I have to actually be able to hear your jokes now. Oh.
Well, I can do me British accent on occasion.
Oh no, please don't. Please don't. Please don't.
Damn. Anyway.
I think the appropriate phrase is the phrase is "you wish." Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, like it's such a beautiful world. It's so tranquilly depressed, but in like a kind of oddly peaceful way. I don't know. It's just I don't know where Sanderson got it from, but it's like this just wonderful lightning in a bottle of a setting. It's just perfect. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And also just the idea of like rather than factories spewing ash all over the place, it's the ash mounts. I
Yeah.
think that's a really, really neat idea.
Are those explained in later books?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, then I won't ask the question
So-
that's on the tip of my tongue then, because I'm
No.
gonna find out anyway. So
Mhm.
The thing about Mistborn world building is that it's a plot spoiler.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which is all I need to know to go. Nope, I'm not asking that question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the sort of question
But-
shouldn't ask.
Yeah. But essentially, like, the world is basically like smothered in ash. Is via these volcanoes that are seemingly perpetually active, but they don't spew lava at all, and they don't blow. All they do is spew ash into the sky.
So it's not a proper eruption. Okay.
No, it's basically like a perpetual smog.
Mm-hmm.
Just because we didn't have enough depression in the setting already.
Yeah, since since you have there's very much a class system here where you have the noble class who can basically do anything they want to the slave or ska class, and there's various degradations of ska class, like there's city ska, plantation ska, and rebel ska, and like craftsman. And so a nobleman can basically do whatever he wants to any ska that he wants, and he doesn't really need to like prove anything. It's very much a plantation owner, southern plantation owner style setup.
Yes, I figured that out after the very first chapter. Was like, okay.
Yeah, these guys
Okay.
are horrible people.
Yeah, the first thing I thought of was actually the American South before the Civil War. That's the
Mhm.
first thing that came into my head. And I'm glad that it fit well enough that I understood exactly what was going on.
Well, it's interesting as well that kind of that element from real world kind of weirdly well fits itself into like you're saying, like the Gothic like France, or like there's an
Yeah.
element of Gothic London in it as well, like Victorian London-esqueness to to the setting that is it's like a different.
Fits. It just fits somehow.
Yeah, and it kind of shouldn't, because a lot of the time when you kind of mix American history with like British and European
stuff.
history, it doesn't quite mesh because it does come from a different place. But but this, you almost don't notice it because it is, although it's taking from the real world, it's enough its own thing and its own trajectory of stuff that it just melds together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like part of it is just like there's roughly similar time periods. I think that helps, and kind of since you have the yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we'll get to the Steel Inquisitors in a little bit when we but first we gotta explain
those are yeah, those are terrifying.
Yeah,
Terrifying things.
How I'm curious, how old were you when you first read Mistborn, Dan?
I read Mistborn when I was 15 or 16, I think.
All right, I was 17. How much did the Steel Inquisitors freak you the fuck out?
Well,
they sent shivers of fear down my spine.
I am probably the worst person to ask that question because I don't get freaked out by stuff in books very often.
Fair enough.
I get freaked out more by visuals
That's fair
than
enough.
stuff in a book. Like I quit watching American Horror Story because I'm just like I'm just emotionally exhausted by this show, and I can't really like get a hand. I can't really like. There's nothing really for me to invest in anymore.
All right, fair enough. I get freaked out by anything that involves eyes. So
yeah, that was definitely freaky. Definitely
Yeah.
freaky.
Yeah, there's actually a little piece of artwork that I found of the Steel Inquisitors.
Ugh.
Oh Christ!
Oh,
You know what
good
though?
Lord.
When I first imagined them, I don't know whether I'm almost like now I've seen the art, I'm less freaked out by them, if that makes sense, because in my head they had like absolutely fucking massive spikes through their heads, like to the point that it was like, I don't know, just more freaky that got smashed through their face.
Yeah. This imagery is less freaky than what I thought too, because it for some reason, you know those bottle cap glasses?
Oh right, yeah.
That's what I thought. That's the first image that came into my head when it was spikes through the eyes.
Honestly, all of the art I've ever seen of them looks way more human than they appeared in my head. I think that's an element of like, you know, the charm of a book though, that it can like send your imagination further than if you have it concrete, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. Interesting.
They're still freaky, don't get me wrong, but that's less freaky than the image that was in my head, my own imagination conjured up.
I think an element of them as well is like the actual scenes they're in, like when they're just still, it's like they're just standing there, but like how incredibly just slaughterous every single scene they're in. Like there is no hope when something goes to walks into a scene.
They're very, very bloodthirsty too. Every single one of them except for Bleep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So
no,
Valerian,
this is not Roshar. This is not Roshar.
So Valerian, this is one thing about the Cosmere is that Mistborn and the Mistborn planet Scadriel and Roshar are both in the same galaxy. And in the same universe. And there are world hoppers. Like if you notice, Hoyd is in this book. Good old Wit. Wit is also in this book.
Yeah.
I haven't quite got to his little bit in my reread, but I may have skipped ahead just to read that little exchange just because I love Wit a lot.
Yeah, he's just so wonderful.
Yeah. It's interesting. And you always look for a character named Hoyd in all of the Cosmere books, and you'll find him.
Yeah.
It might be, actually, I don't know. It might be in the same solar system. I'm not sure. Might be. I'm not sure. I know that. Yeah, go for it.
I don't know exactly, but because I haven't looked it up, but because terrified of freaking spoilers, but I would assume that the Goldilocks zone for their star is probably not big enough to have that many planets in it, so I would assume different solar systems.
Yeah. Yeah, he's an interesting person, to say the least. Yeah. So after reading most of the Cosner books, he's an interesting figure, to say the least. Yeah. You'll find out eventually.
Oh God. Oh, too much to read. Not enough time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. He's basic. Yeah. He's interesting. Yeah. He's still alive. So I think that roughly Mistborn and Roshar and Wave and Stormlight Archive are a little bit concurrent based on a few of the letters that happen in Words of Radiance.
Okay.
I haven't gotten to those yet, so don't spoil, please.
Oh, I won't. You'll once you read them, you'll notice a few things. You'll notice some things.
Yeah. And it helps that I have the physical book in front of me now, too. Because
Yeah.
I'm not going to read ahead, as
Yeah.
tempting as it is, but having something to look at instead of just listen to is going to help me notice things.
You look for speech patterns, similar speech patterns for characters in Mistborn and the letters in Stormlight. Armlight.
That I will do.
epigraphs.
Oh.
Oh.
Right,
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Mistborn Era 2. Okay.
Takes
Question:
place
Is
after...
it a spoiler to say how long there is between the Mistborn eras? So I know to shut up.
It's about. I don't think so. It's
you
just
said
like
it was a. You said it was a couple hundred years. I think.
years.
Yeah,
A few
300
hundred
years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Whole new set of characters.
I know when I was reading it, I was, because I had no idea what happened in the Mistborn trilogy. I was terrified that, like, because I was convinced the world was going to end at the end of the trilogy, and everything was just going to be like there would be nothing left. I was like convinced it would be a spoiler if I found out if the Era 2 was actually a prequel or something or not. So I just didn't look anything up.
Yeah. So the neat thing about this world, moving kind of back a little bit to like the mind expandingness that is the Cosmere. Yeah. There's actually kind of a thing of, you look at, oh, wonderful, just going through the things of the Cosmere, through Mistborn or Stormlight Archive, and then you find out about the Cosmere and all the Easter eggs, and it's just like you become Charlie Day with his the Charlie Day meme with all of the Post-it notes and the giant board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't notice the little Easter egg in Way of Kings because I hadn't read any of the other books yet.
Yeah. Yeah, you meet good old Demu in Way of Kings, who is apparently a world hopper.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
His name is mispronounced by Mr. Pure Lake Bayou.
Pure Lake person?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I know who that is. And it's after seeing Hoyd in Mistborn, I get the feeling that Wit might also be a world hopper.
Oh, he is.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's in every single Cosmere
Awesome.
book. He's in every
It's-
single Cosmere book.
Because
I-
Wit needs to be everywhere.
I never.
Oh, go for it. Sorry.
I never clicked that who he was for ages and ages and ages because I started reading Way of Kings quite a bit after I read Mistborn. But I knew that world hoppers existed, and the second Wit showed up, I was like, if he's not the frickin' world hopper, I am.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just, I don't know, he's just got that air of, but like after a while, you're like, yeah, definitely. But at the beginning, when he first shows up and it's not quite clear, it's like, yeah.
Start with the first one, the Final Empire.
Yeah.
And then just go 1, 2, 3. Well, go. Okay, so it has them in order. So the first trilogy, then there's the second tetralogy / quadrilogy. Mistborn Era 4 should be coming out sometime in the next couple of years. And then the next Stormlight book is, I think, 4 or 5 years from last year, I think. He puts them out really quick.
Yeah, he does. And they are thick, thick books.
They like thick girls. They need time to simmer. Okay, that didn't land.
No.
No, it didn't.
I promise
If
you,
I
it's not
could,
me.
I'd hit you over the head with Words of Radiance right now. It's a heavy book.
Come on, Neph, let's be classy and just threaten him with a shard blade. Come on. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least we don't have to wait as long as Winds of Winter.
Oh, yeah. That would be
Hey.
absolutely horrible.
Here's the thing with Mistborn era 2, he was quite quick in succession of like releasing 1, then 2, then 3, and then it's just been so long. I was just like,
When is Era 3 coming out?
but just release number 4, please.
Please. Yeah.
I am the king of weird. It will do nothing to me.
Awesome Sanderson stream, except it's Mistborn and Steel Inquisitors exist. Okay. Blood and guts and disgusting this, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Perhaps I should inform that one Inquisitor.
Yeah.
I think he's here somewhere.
Matthias? Yeah, I don't know where Matthias is. But in terms of the world of Mistborn, we have Brandon Sanderson's typical interesting magic system.
Yeah,
he
the
works
magic
with.
system is let's see. My brother recognized copper burning because he'd run across it in a fanfic, and I'm like, no, don't read fanfic, read the books first.
I imagine there is so much Mistborn / fic out there that would probably make everybody's eyes burn.
Oh God, no! Ew, 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 ew. And well,
come on, you know that
No, I know.
There's Kelsier Vit / Vin fan fiction out there, I imagine.
Yeah, but did we need that done? Did we need you to bring that up? Couldn't we have just ignored that? We're talking about the book, you know?
yeah,
We didn't need to
it's
talk
like,
about the fanfic.
but well, my brother ran into it because he was reading crossover.
No,
So-
there are not Spren. So
No, there's metal burning, which is called allomancy.
So Spren are the version of investiture of Roshar. Investiture on Scadrial is in metals and in the people. Pull.
Mm.
Pull. You'll see. But there are 16 different metals. 10 of, I think actually 11 of which are revealed in, no, 12. 12 of which are revealed in this book.
Let's see.
So you have steel and iron,
Cop-
which basically turn you into either
Yeah.
a positive or negative magnet. There's copper and
Tin.
Bronze.
copper and bronze, which
Tin
either allow you to
and yeah,
tin and pewter.
and tin and pewter.
So bronze and copper hides you from other allomancers. If you're not a Mistborn, you can shield a building feasibly. Whereas if you're just a Mistborn, you only conceal yourself.
Or so it
So it appears.
seems.
Yeah. With bronze, you can see other Mistborn or Mistings unless they have a copper cloud, in theory. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's a rabbit hole.
Yeah,
that's
that's gonna be at the end.
Yeah. And their pewter enhances all of your physical abilities, and it burns a lot faster than most of the other metals, except for atium, which allows you to see the future. Sure. Like if somebody, like say you're in a fight and you're burning atium, you basically get to see the person's moves before they make them.
And it gets really, really confusing when both Mistborn are using it.
Yeah. And then there's gold, which allows you to see another version of yourself. It's very odd.
And then there's Gold's partner, which is the 11th metal, I believe.
Yep.
It was.
It's given the name of malatium. That's in the second quest, but I don't feel like that's a spoiler to call the 11th metal malatium.
Malatium. Okay. Which does the same, which does something similar
with other people.
With other people, like
I think you missed out tin.
Yeah.
No,
tin,
I think
we said tin, but we talked about we mentioned tin, but we didn't
say what it does.
Didn't say what it does. But what it does is it enhances every single one of your senses at once. So loud noises are
Even worse.
Senses.
Yeah.
But if somebody flashes a bright noise or a loud flashes a bright light or a loud noise, it's going to hurt your ears worse than your regular hearing. Also, your senses,
or your eyes.
Your pain senses are enhanced as well.
Yeah.
And then you got brass and what's his name?
Zinc. Brass and zinc.
There we go. I always forget zinc.
Yeah. Where you can push, dampen, or inflame other people's emotions. So, for example, Tarek seems to be a rioter with Becca.
Yeah.
Hey, so if I'm a Mistborn, is he one too, or is he just a rioter?
I think I think he's just he's too cool not to be a Mistborn.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Tarek. He just gave you a compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're quite fun ones.
Yep.
Good old Breeze.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
we'll get to that.
He was, I think, of the crew, not counting kills here. I think he and Vin. Breeze was definitely one of my favorite characters.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like Breeze and kind of just how like he pretends to be cynical, but in reality he's fairly heroic.
Is it a spoiler to really vaguely say that his uh descendants are main characters in Era 2?
No, I don't think so.
It's great.
Yeah.
When I figured that out, I was like, oh, I'm so happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
It's great.
Yeah, it is great. So let's get into Vin and the other characters. Vin is actually one of my favorite female characters ever. Possibly one of my favorite characters ever.
Yeah, definitely.
I think she's my opinions on her are that she's really great, and I was surprised how much I liked her. I was surprised how much I liked her, considering that she being the main character and like the kind of one that you're supposed to be relating to, she had the danger of being a little bit blank slate compared to the rest of the crew, and I think she has a little element of that in that of the crew she's my least favorite, but not because I don't love her, just because I love the rest of them so much, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's wonderful.
I think one of my favorite moments is when Ham asks
Oh,
to
yeah.
engage her in moral philosophy, and Vin says, "Doesn't matter, I don't care."
Yeah, she's very straightforward about that. That was one of my favorite lines of the entire book.
It's just that they're going, I don't really understand why you need to know why it's important. And he's like, because it's important, because it's, you know, you got to ask questions. I love
Well,
Ham.
I see his point of view, but I also see Vin's where this was never important to me, so why would I pay any attention?
Yeah. Well, kind of like they're asking, since like the Lord Ruler is basically like God on Earth, or the sliver of infinity, and for the sake of like a philosophical debate, Ham, one of the other members of the crew, who's the Bruiser, but he's actually like fairly philosophical and debatey, which is odd for his type of character.
Yeah, he's not just the brawn, he's brains too, and that's
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Ooh. Yeah.
You know, I go around trying to figure out who my favorites are, and Kelsey is obviously right at the top, but
yeah,
oh, they're so great.
Yeah. And Ham event, like, I just like, it's kind of just like he's trying to say, like, argue about like, so if are we sinning if we're going up against God? And Vince like, doesn't matter to me, I don't care. And it just flummoxes Ham completely. He's not used to it.
It makes the rest of the crew just laugh out loud.
And Breeze is just like, see, the girl has some sense. It's so good. I love it.
Yeah, I think the exact word is, that is the exact right response to that.
I agree.
Yes.
I see your philosophical conundrum and raise you my indifference.
Yeah. Basically.
Because you've got the Breeze and Ham friendship, which is like, it's very bombastically right there for you to just really, really enjoy. But it's interesting that you actually have a second you have another friendship that's like notable in there as well, which is obviously Kel and Dox. And everyone talks about Breeze and Ham, but Kel and Dox being best buddies is just, I love that a lot.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I think the pinnacle of social status is if Becca thinks you're cool, actually.
Yeah, actually. but I've gone on record calling him a complete dork, so I don't know whether that's going to happen.
Well, if
Your avatar is Vin and a dog, so
yeah. When we get to book 2, you'll be able to name that dog.
yeah. I can't wait.
yeah, he's a good boy. He's a very good boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Vin is definitely like kind of an example of the feral woman archetype, which I actually quite like, especially in this.
Yeah, she is kind of feral, and it's great.
Yeah.
And watching her in court is just
neat.
Yeah, it's neat. How does she do that?
Mm-hmm.
She's a feral child from the streets, and yet she manages to fool all the nobles.
I remember also really, really enjoying when I read it that although she never stops being the tomboyish, like, street girl, the fact that she's allowed to enjoy being a bit girly and enjoy her pretty frilly dresses and stuff, and she fills that role and isn't just doing the stereotypical I reject the pretty things. That always made me really, really happy. Like that was so refreshing to read.
That makes me happy too, because that's how I was like too. I was always more comfortable in jeans, but I was allowed to like skirts, and now it's like, no, you're not allowed to like. If you like dresses and skirts, you're not allowed to like wearing pants or shorts. It makes no sense.
Put you in that little box. Yeah. It's a measure of hypocrisy from certain lanes of the aisle that they want you in certain boxes while proclaiming that they want you to move out of said box.
How are you supposed to do that if they keep shoving you back into it?
But that's the wonderful thing about Vin. She was shoved in a box by circumstance, but she doesn't know which box she wants to be in, and she doesn't know that she wants to be in a box, and she also has a lot of responsibilities that means she can't really think about which bloody box she's in anyway, so she just gets on with it. But in the meantime, she's discovering herself a little bit, and she's enjoying it at certain points, and it's in this world of just horrifying depression and disgusting things, and where the entire world is just like weighing on everyone's shoulders all the time, and it looks like that as well as feeling like that. And in all of that, she has these moments of girlish joy. And I wasn't the biggest fan of the romance subplot. Having said that, reading what little I have in the reread, I like it more than I did first time around. I don't know why exactly, but the little bits of joy where she gets to like feel a bit girlish with that, and like just the nice happy moments, the little squeals of frivolity of that. And
I feel pretty, oh so pretty.
And just the wholesome moments, and also the laughs from all the crew and stuff as well, like how funny this book can get at times. It's like it's just so strange how all of these things are in the same book.
It's hard to believe that this is a heist book at some point.
Yeah, you forget that sometimes.
Everyone is so wholesome.
Yeah, it's My Fair Lady meets Ocean's 11 / The Italian Job.
That's a fucking amazing comparison.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And Vin needed all the hugs, and she got all the hugs in the end.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. yeah, since and with well, it's kind of funny. It's like yeah, well, kind of Sanderson doesn't necessarily like kind of one of the neat things about Sanderson is like most of like his like good guy characters share similar values to him, at least that I've noticed.
Mhm.
Like
Hmm.
fairly firm family values, and most of like the bad characters do not. At least
Yeah.
what I've seen. Like Straff Venture, uh, Ellen Venture's dad is kind of the stereotypical misogynist pig dog in a lot of ways.
I don't really. I know that it's possible that and there are sons that are radically different from their fathers, but it still gets to the point of, are you sure, Ellen, that is your dad? Are you sure your mother didn't cheat on him with someone else when she had you? Are
I mean,
you sure about that?
I've always been quite fascinated with the idea that a lot of the time you have two kinds of child. There is the one that just like by virtue of never having thought about it just resembles their parent, and then there's the one that hates everything their parent is so much that they become the opposite. And I
Yeah.
mean, Ellen is the second. Like,
Definitely.
I mean, yeah.
I think especially what happened to him when he was 15 or 16, or was it 14?
Was
With
he,
the
he was young.
yeah, with the this well both with the ska hooker that killed after he got done.
Yeah.
And after
That one. He was like,
his development.
I am not
his
going to do
relationship
this
with his
again.
dad.
This is I hate this word, but this is deplorable. I'm not going to do this again. No.
It's so weird how messed up this book is and this series is, but how it manages to seem wholesome.
Mhm.
How is it something with that in it doesn't turn into George R. R. Martin?
I don't know. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's just how does something with that, you know, the scene with Cameron strung up, how did that moment not turn into like a George R. R. Martin book? Like, I don't understand how Sanderson does it, but he's like a magic person. Like,
yeah, like the let's see, Vin's old boss.
Yeah.
Cayman.
Yeah, Cayman. How the I mean, he had it coming.
Coming from a hook in the ceiling is probably one of the most disturbing imagery.
Yeah, it
gives
is.
him a way to die rather than being like that's just nasty.
The way
Rather
he
than
describes
being
the hook.
yeah.
I only read that yesterday, and I'm like, still not there.
I think the way he does it without actually detailing what the violence is and just showing the aftermath instead is how he managed to avoid being George.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said earlier, he's very, very good at he gives you enough information that you know what happened, and your imagination is telling the story for you.
Yeah.
Oftentimes your imagination is worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. As with the Inquisitors, obviously.
Oh, it's so freaky. Why, Sanderson? Why would you come up with those ever?
Yeah, why?
Maybe he was just watching some horror movies lately and just thought, "Oh, nails in the eyes."
Let's just stab them in the eyes with spikes. That's a good idea.
And it goes out the back of your head. Ugh.
Yeah. I think from that we can. Yes, he is a little bit gross.
That's an understatement of the century. George R. R. Martin is gross sometimes. Really?
Yeah. Fat pink masks and mirror swamps all
Oh,
over the
no.
place.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah. So, Vin is rescued from a crew, kind of a derelict bottom feeder crew after they're they managed to supposedly swindle the Steel Ministry, which is basically the religion, the state religion, where everything's focused around worshiping the Lord Ruler. And but in reality, they noticed,
They said
oh,
that an
she's not.
inquisitor after them because
Yeah.
you can't
So
do that to one of the arbiters. I think they call it.
obligators.
Yeah, obligators.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's Kelsier himself that saves her. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
He distracts.
Yeah.
He distracts the Inquisitor.
Yep.
So in this, Kelsier functions as actually all of the other characters in the crew function as mentors in a way with all for Vin. Kelsier is kind of her major teacher, like in terms of like explaining the mechanics of Allomancy, but all of the rest of them explain to some extent the
What they
practicals
do.
of each. Yeah.
Yeah, what
Since-
they do.
Since each of them are a
Missing of a certain type.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Since we got Ham, who's a pewter burner, who basically has like an immense physical strength and abhors sleeves.
I love that random fact of his. Like, I don't like sleeves.
he
I don't like sleeves. They're coarse and rough and irritating, and they get everywhere.
He likes philosophy, doesn't like sleeves. That's his list.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah.
Yep.
Uh
Yep. And Kelsier, like, since he's a Mistborn, he knows all of the Mels, but he's his major skill is pushing and pulling with iron
Yeah.
and steel.
mhm.
But unlike somebody like Breeze, who is a little bit more subtle with how he soothes emotions, Kelsier is a little bit more of a fire hose as opposed to a sprinkler system.
Or, Kel is the hammer to Breeze's scalpel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, also, Cal has been doing it for less time and has quite a few.
yeah.
He's got a bit of a split attention by the necessity of being Mistborn.
Yeah.
Though I think Yeaton as a character is both tragic but also kind of a joke.
Yaden's bad attitude.
Yeah. Basically, like, so one of the things that they kind of take a look at is breaking down what are the problems facing us. So they say the Steel Ministry, the nobility, and the Koloss armies. You don't see Koloss; they're just these fearsome creatures out in the boonies, far away from the Empire, that can be brought in when needed. So, Neph, as somebody who has not read it, what do you think the Koloss are exactly?
To me, they sound like the Mistborn version of dragons.
You know, I don't know what I'd call Koloss. Like, I have. There's a couple of things I'd sort of compare them to, but they are the thing with Mistborn as well as a general thing is that its sort of mythological stuff is not that comparable to real world stuff.
Yeah.
Like Kandra are shapeshifters, but they're so much more than shapeshifters. They have so much stuff beneath that they it's
Yeah.
not like they've got much to do with like real world
Mhm.
lore of shapeshifters.
The one thing about Mistborn is Mistborn does not have megafauna. Like,
Oh no. That
yeah.
I mean, I understand that. The only thing that could possibly get close to that are the mist wraiths.
Yeah.
But just the way they talked about the Contra, it
The
the
Kola.
well, yeah, just the way they talked about them, it conjured. We don't want to mess with these because they are the local version of the dragon, and nobody wants to mess with the dragon.
Well, the thing is, they actually have Kolos armies. That's what it's referred to.
Mm-hmm.
They're I think they're
But
kind of
yeah,
like
I
it's
mean,
more like I think like it's more like it seems like basically they're more like orc armies. At least like that's what I pictured initially.
well, when I first heard about it, I knew they were talking about armies, but as in multiple, but as a single thing. Um, the thing that was conjured in my head is that they are like dragons because you don't want to mess with them.
Okay.
It's fair. I think you'll be interested when you meet them. I sort of thought of them as orcs, but I in my head it was more like trolls, and they are kind of a bit closer to trolls in terms
Yeah.
of like their role. But I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And but getting back to it, like they put the Colossus as one of their problems, and also like just when Yeaton, the rebel who's giving them money to try and set this up, he's being a bit salty with Kelsier. So Kelsier puts up as problems to be overcome Yeaton's bad attitude.
Oh yeah, that was fun. I
Just
enjoyed that immensely.
the amount of just razor sharp back and forth dialogue in this book is just not fair. It's just wonderful. Here's the thing, right? I mean, when I first read the book, right, I was a teenager, and as a teenager, I used to laugh reading books quite a lot, right? So I couldn't really compare. I used to do that a lot. Rereading this book, I don't really do that anymore. I couldn't stop fucking laughing in that scene. Oh my god. I was just like, it was quite late at night as well, and I was like, my brother's gonna knock on my door and go, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
What are you doing that's so funny?
I'm reading the book. Shake's head goes, nerd.
Nerd. Yeah.
Well, we're proud to be nerds here.
Okay.
We are geeks, not nerds.
Yes. And we're proud
Oh,
of
no.
it.
Well, we gotta have
most of all these performances, these faces.
Oh god,
Ugh.
I'm already having flashbacks.
Thankfully, I will only include that as a meme since we have completely killed that show.
Yes, we have. Yay!
Yep. But then they
yeah,
they-
every time Eden was on screen with Kelsier, I was laughing.
yeah.
It was, oh god.
Oh, the back and forth between Kelsier and Eden actually reminds me of Luke Skywalker and Mara Jade from the Thrawn trilogy.
Not in a gay way.
No, not in a gay way. Not in a gay way. Not in a gay way, but the back and forth between Luke and Mara is before they ever get together is Yaden and Kelsier.
Yeah, though unfortunately it doesn't turn out very well for Mr. Eden.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. So part of the problems that Mistborn that they have to the plot of Mistborn revolves around are they have to figure out how to neutralize the nobility. They have to figure out how to like start a rebellion that will take the main capital of Luthadel.
Except there's a problem because let's see. The Lord Ruler was rioting
Well,
everyone's
soothing everyone's emotions, yeah.
well, I would say soothing some and rioting soothing the positive emotions and rioting the negative ones.
Well, I think that they're just called soothing stations. So I
Well,
don't think
yeah, but that doesn't stop the fact that the first time when Vin felt it, I thought, oh, the soothing stations take care of the soothing, and then uh their quote unquote god riots the negative emotions.
hmm.
And I figured that he did it that way
Mhm.
because it's easier to do one than it is to do both.
Mhm. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And so they do start like recruiting people for this rebellion secretly.
It's hard though
Yeah, it is very hard.
because
And
of the soothing stations.
yep. But they start building Kelsier kind of starts building a cult of personality around himself because he's the survivor of Hath Sin. He's the only guy to get out of these death mine camps.
He's just
Yeah.
And he's also an arrogant mugger, so it kind of helps.
It's okay that he's an arrogant. He's okay. He doesn't come off as arrogant, actually.
I think he does, but in the sense of like the wonderful thing about Kelsier is that you love him, but you're living on the teetering edge, going, Christ, he's going to go over the edge like properly all the time because he has that arrogance, because he has that just he's a bomb waiting to go off, you know, and that's what makes him a wonderful part of the story.
Yep.
And that's also what makes his wonderful relationship with Vin so powerful as well, in part because it's like that's his grounding, you know, and that
Vin's his daughter, the daughter he always wanted to have.
I don't. Oh my god!
No,
don't even
so
start it.
It's so wholesome.
Oh, I love it so much. But he so seamlessly falls into like the legendary figure thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's I love it.
Yeah. And well, the way it feels, all the other characters except for maybe Eden, because Eden's not on screen very often. Kelsier's the team dad, and then everyone else has big brother instincts when it comes to Vin.
Yeah.
At least that's how it felt to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of this very much is a big like semi-dysfunctional family era about it.
Yeah.
Oh god, the moment when the first Credit Shaw bit happens and he comes back and Dox is like furious at him. Oh, like that's I think to me that's the first moment where you go, oh Christ, this really is a little family. You know,
yeah.
where Dox is like he's being basically the responsible uncle. You know, he's like, Kel, what have you done? This poor girl.
Yes. Definitely the responsible uncle. He definitely felt more like an uncle than a big brother.
This
And
is
he
why,
felt
this is
like-
why Docs.
And that's even with Kelsier having an actual brother.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Marsh is a whole other story, but
Yeah,
that I love a lot too.
Yeah.
But Doc's, I love Doc's place in the story. He's
Yes.
pretty wonderful.
Dox
Yeah.
feels like he's the oldest of 3 brothers.
Yeah. And Kelsier's the baby.
The baby firebrand, like that's like burning so bright, and they're all like, "Fuck, he can't stay in a frickin' box."
Yeah, and they all feel the same way about Vin too.
Mhm.
They just want to wrap her in blankets and keep her safe and warm forever.
But doesn't everyone want to do that? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Vin is very much like Kaladin in terms of she's a very sad girl.
Except
Yeah.
at least Kaladin has like, I mean, okay, so Vin can look after herself, but Kaladin, I mean, I guess Kaladin's older for one, but also his whole thing is that he starts in a place where he just quickly becomes a leader. So you've got a feeling, look, even though he's he's a sad boy and you love him very much, he you've got a sense that he can look after himself, and you don't. Whereas Vin is like, I want to look after this child and put her away in a box and leave her there, and just let everyone else save the world, because otherwise she'll get hurt, and we don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was very much my feeling throughout the book.
Mhm.
It's like, I want to jump into the boat so I can hug her forever.
Except, we all know, as Kelsier does, that if you try to do that, she'll follow you and get herself in trouble anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably get me in trouble too on the way out.
Yeah. Since like Vin's got really both is a kind of an interesting combination of nosy but also creative.
Yes.
And combine that with some pretty serious trust issues.
Yeah,
that's
trust
probably
issues too.
That's probably the understatement of the century. Vin has trust
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah.
Well, since apparently her mom killed her little sister, and her brother like got her out, and then they went on the run.
And then her brother like
Her
fucking
brother
taught her to
left.
never trust anyone ever, is his rule.
Yeah, and then he included himself in that
Yeah.
too, because I'm going to leave you, Vin. I'm going to leave you. I'm going to leave you. I'm going to leave you. And then at the very end, we find out that beep.
Yeah.
So
The major things that happen up to that point is Vin is used to infiltrate the aristocracy, since she's kind of an unknown. She's kind of could be used to be a kind of a young ingenue who can just kind of go in, spread some stuff, get some information. And then she meets a young man by a young Twinkie bookworm named Ellen Venture.
it's like, Ellen is definitely my kind of kid. He's definitely my kind of kid, because I would have my nose buried in a book too if I was forced to go to a dance. Of course, I'd probably have a notebook out instead, and I'd be writing. But
Yeah. And he's just he's just I love how my little sister actually really likes Mistborn, even though I disagree her on multiple things, like TLJ.
Let's.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
she like described it as like a feral woman meets Twinkie bookworm.
She's not wrong. It's so
Honestly,
wholesome.
though, I forgot how great the scene where she doesn't realize who he is, and she's gone back down to Say's, and Say's like, "Oh, who are you talking to?" And Say's has like a fucking fit. By the way,
He's
we
like-
haven't touched on Say's yet.
Yeah.
No,
What is
we
his
haven't.
heresy? What is his
Yeah.
heresy? We haven't talked about Say's.
Sazed, the terrace man steward who acts as her
Bodyguard, chauffeur, chaperone. Yeah, he's wonderful.
It is very polite, I think, mistress, to not talk to the Twinkie bookworm.
Yes.
Oh, he's just the epitome of just all the good things in the Mistborn world is Stays. He's just that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. If anyone deserves to be wrapped in blankets with Vin, it's him.
Yeah. And it also
Oh,
doesn't hurt that he's also a eunuch.
Yeah.
So nothing improprietous is going to happen in there.
Yeah. But it's also
oh god.
it's
Why
also
did you have to bring that up?
unfortunate.
Oh, you know that if there's Grey Worm and Missandei and a slash fic, there is Sazed and Binfant slash fic
Why?
somewhere.
Oh my god, why did you have to even imply it? Why?
I know. It's
Fucking
just
Christ. Ugh,
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
no,
that's
I know.
hurt me. That is a fundamental level. I don't like it.
But yeah, the two in combination are actually quite funny.
Mhm.
Oh, like he's. I don't know where I put him in terms of like when you were talking about the dysfunctional family. I mean, he's kind of like he's another father figure in a way. I guess he's like the chill, quiet uncle. Like
Sure.
Dox is like the worrying, stressed, like uncle, and Says is like the chill one.
So
Yeah.
So Kelsier is the wild playboy uncle. Doxson is the
No, Kelsier's the wild playboy dad.
wild playboy dad. Doxson is the worrying bureaucratic office manager or uncle. And says it's the hippie uncle. The refined hippie uncle.
Yes.
You can... I don't think I
Yeah.
will. I'm not going into detail. I'm just saying that by virtue of Rule 34, that exists.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
just bringing it up, and that is the problem because we didn't need to think this.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, I have to. It's hilarious.
Well, it's my thought throughout the entire book was that it's too bad that Sazed has had his junk cut off because he would make a great dad.
Mhm.
He is just so patient with Vin.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm not going to say anything more than Neph. I can't wait until you read the whole series. I think
I
John knows
can't
what
wait
I'm
either.
playing, but
Yeah.
But yeah,
oh,
he's
so much to come.
Yeah. Well, he can't come.
No, don't you fucking dare! You horrifyingly awful person.
oh done. Please stop it.
Oh,
If you want me to stop, why are you laughing?
I'm cringing. I don't know about you, but okay. Anyway,
Yeah. So inevitably there are hiccups in the plan.
Of course there are.
oh no,
Yeah.
you don't say.
Yeah. So we're done with the overall summary. If you haven't been convinced to read Mistborn yet, you can stick around. If you don't want to be
But
spoiled,
we will
please
be
leave.
Yeah, we will be spoiling it from now on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ha.
So, major twists. First off, we'll start with the least consequential in terms of like the overall plot, which is Yin is Kelsier tries to kind of have an object lesson and kind of encourage the troops by helping one of the other men to kind of have a kind of come see the light. We're actually gonna win. But he does it by making them think he can share his powers with other people.
Yeah, that was a bad idea.
Yeah. And it makes Yeadon decide to go up against the Inquisitors, well, the Imperial garrison a little bit early.
Yeah,
and they
too
get
early.
crushed like ants.
Mm-hmm.
Big oop.
Yep.
Big
Yeah.
oops.
They managed to kind of roll with the crew manages to roll with the punch since the Luthadel garrison is out, but they just have to reform their army off of scratch.
Yeah, and poor Yeadon kicks the bucket.
Yep. Yeah.
Which means no more great witty dialogue for us.
Does that mean his bad attitude got fixed, or what?
Well, I think it's safe to say that his bad attitude got fixed.
Okay.
It just
There
got
we go.
it just got turned into zealotry, which is kind of worse.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oops.
Yeah,
Didn't think that one through properly, Kelsier.
No. There is something else that he did think through very carefully.
Yeah, to give him credit, he was thinking through something else quite thoroughly. So, lots
Yeah.
to think about.
Yeah. Throughout the book, he's asking Sazed about X religion, since various religions, and since Sazed is always trying to present religions to everybody because he's what's called a keeper.
Yep.
And he's got a lot of
knowledge in his head.
Yeah. He's also got a different kind of magic than Kelsier and Vin, which is called Ferrochemy, which is more of the law of
conservation of energy or conservation of mass or something.
I was thinking something along the lines of, I was thinking like law of equivalent exchange. But
that's alchemy.
True, but it's kind of just the idea that he is able to give be less good at something for a certain amount of time in exchange for being just as good at it later on.
Yeah.
Like he can store up strength in a pewter mind, a piece of metal touching his skin, and then is able to become, he can be like half or a third as strong as he normally is in exchange for having an equivalent amount of that much strength for a burst later.
Mm-hmm.
And also, or like he can heal slightly faster, but he has to be sick for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Which I imagine is a horrible experience.
Yeah, Ferrochemy's like really quite passively uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
like,
it sounds like it'd be really cool, but then it's so in order to be stronger, I have to spend time weaker.
Yeah, like it. To be fair, it fits Sazed's kind of like scholarly ways in many ways.
It does,
because it requires a lot of sitting around, a lot of patience, a lot of suffering for your art, essentially. Not quite art. It's not.
Yeah, well, not quite art, but it's the closest we can get.
Yeah, that's like
suffering for your craft, maybe.
Suffering for your craft, yeah, or suffering for the purposes of
for your job.
Yeah.
But after that, we kind of have, because of Ellen Venture, because they're starting a house war by Kelsier killing a bunch of noblemen and dumping the bodies in various lawns and making it look like the nobles are assassinating each other. A house war breaks out, and they're planning on using that as a as a way of covering things up in order to kind of create chaos. But then a problem happens. Vin decides to save Ellen from an attack.
Yeah, he was going to be assassinated. She's like, I love him. I can't let this happen.
Yeah.
And so she gets in trouble for that because now she can't go there.
Mm-hmm.
And Ellen didn't want her coming anyway, so he, quote unquote, broke up with her.
Mm-hmm. But she still saved him anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Vin has a nice character arc throughout this.
Very. She goes from not trusting anyone at all to saving this kid that she hardly knows.
Well, also it's I love the when you have the bit where she's just first entering into the infiltrating the nobles and stuff, and she sat there going, "Oh, I never even I never even considered that the nobles might be trapped in the box," when she realizes the obligators are wandering around and stuff, and she has like this moment of spark of, I might have sympathy for these people, where it's, and you've already had all of these moments of Kelsier just going around and just slaughtering them, and him, to the point where any Scar who's working for the Lord Ruler, he's just like, "You're scum, you deserve to die." Never mind nobles. So it's like you get this wonderful, even though you have these two characters that have this wonderful father-daughter relationship that have extremely different views on nobles, and it really gives this really nice tension that obviously comes to a head when she saves Elend.
Yeah, and well, part of what I like about Kelsier and Finn is that they butt heads over this one topic, but then Vin manages to get Kel to see things from her perspective a little bit, which I wasn't expecting, because I was since Kel is older, I was expecting Vin to see things from his, but she's the one in court, not him. So that
and
was
also
very
kind
nice.
of she kind of hits him with kind of the bomb that you're not really Ska, not really. You haven't lived like Ska.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she says that about all of them too.
Which, to a certain extent, is true. They live actually fairly cushy lives by comparison to the slave and to this factory or plantation Ska.
Yeah, she was like, she called them out on their hypocrisy. And it's great because they went, "Oh, well, we'd better not be hypocrites then." And it's so wonderful because we don't get that anywhere anymore.
Well, it's also got a wonderful flavor as well, like in terms of the amount that he teaches her and the amount that he brings her on and nurtures her from this character who every 2 seconds is like, "Right, how are you trying to use me? How are you trying to use me? How are you trying to use me?" And nurtures her into someone who trusts like they do and has a positive attitude and believes that that something good can come of things. That he brings her into that, as well as teaching her the actual elements at Mansi. It's such a wonderful thing that there is one thing that is his very glaring flaw that she can help teach him, because it can be kind of funny sometimes when you try and do the student teaches the master, but when you've got a dynamic where so much has been taught and so much has been given to the student that they can just give one little gift, especially when it's, you know, Kelsey's arc, which is Kelsey's arc. It's just this wonderful, like, sweet twist, you know, to have. Yeah,
it is.
And especially when all of the religion talk with Sazed comes to a point after. So
I really should have guessed that this was coming.
Oh god, the
Yeah.
reread is excruciating because I'm going, holy fuck, says, like, just think for more than a second, stop it from happening. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really should have thought of it, but he has a I'm sorry to bring this to say this, but he has a real Jesus moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what happened, and it's like, oh, all of those talks about all every time Cal says it about religion was leading up to this.
Yep.
Oh my goodness!
Mm-hmm.
How did I not catch that?
Yeah. It's yeah.
Yeah. And Kelsier, eventually what happens with him is that the noble family that has that was or the fake noble family, basically Kelsier replaced a noble, got a nobleman, killed him, and then replaced him with a double. And the funniest part is that Yeadon asks, how did you replace him with a double that anybody would know about? And he's like,
You don't want to know.
I didn't. And Breeze says, oh, you didn't. And Kelsey's like, yeah, I did. And he's like, do I want to know? And Breeze is like, no, you don't want to know. This makes killing him look tame by comparison.
Yeah. Especially with what happens to Kel.
Yeah, essentially what he did was he employed what's called a Khandra, which is a shapeshifter that eats people's bones in order to replicate their appearance.
Just the term, without like hearing the descriptions as you know and reading it properly, the term eating someone's bones. I've read so much of Mistborn now that I'm used to them saying it, but I'm not used to being just completely unsettled every time they say, yeah, I'm gonna eat someone's bones. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, and that was foreshadowing for later when he eats Kel.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, Kelsier ends up being killed by the Lord Ruler after a fight with the Steel Inquisitor, where he manages to figure out a way to kill him by decapitating him after a pretty awesome, basically, metal superhero.
Yeah, that fight is my favorite fight in the entire book.
I mean,
Bar none.
Kel's final fight has to be the fucking coolest thing. Like,
yes,
you know,
yes.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Finn's fight with the Lord Ruler is up there, but it's definitely second to Kel's.
But also, like, in a meta kind of thing, in terms of Kel's plan, like, that has to be the ultimate. You know, I mean, he didn't exactly plan out that bit, I don't believe.
No, I don't think he did.
But in terms of how his plan unfolds, the fact that he has this epic, insane, awesome fight just before the moment of extreme poignancy is, well, that's fucking amazing, isn't it?
And the fact that they all go to save Renew and the people who were working for them, I think that's the culmination of all of their arcs because that shows that they're not hypocrites anymore.
Yep. Well, and then also Kelsier, like Ellen, like tries to grab it because he still is in love with with Vin. Or
he only broke
Vince.
up with her because he didn't want her to be around to protect her. That's all he did that for.
Yep.
It's like I really, really like her, but she's gonna be in danger if she stays here. So how can I get her to leave? I know.
Typical
I'll break
cliche
up
way.
with her.
Yep. Yeah.
She wouldn't have left anyway. But
Well, I
if
think also like they thought that he thought that she was a spy for another house.
Yeah, that too. And
But it
was I laughed out loud when he
found out that she's actually a ska thief. He was like, "This is so cool."
He was relieved that she was a ska thief instead of a spy.
Yeah. Well, it's funny as well, like the whole thing of like his method of saving her is like, oh yeah, I'm gonna break up with you. It really kind of highlights how, although he's got all of these heretical books and they're going to save the world, you know, they're going to make the world a better place with their generation or whatever. They're so domesticated with it, and they're so like within the nobility, they have no idea how much things are gonna get shaken up. They have no idea how small scale their plans are, almost.
Yeah.
He thinks that saving someone's life can be done by breaking up with them, you know.
Yeah. I mean, he did it so that she would
very bohemian, very bohemian ideals and very Les Mis about it.
He did that so she would leave town, but that didn't work. So it probably would have worked better if he'd just come out and told her.
Yeah.
Without spoiling anything, just for the record, but with like the vaguest reference ever, I want to know what Elend from book 3 thinks about leaving town as a way of getting out of danger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you understand.
So the funniest thing actually happened with the Michael Kramer, the reader. He actually read book 3 and recorded book 3 reading before he recorded the other 2.
What?
Okay.
So
wow.
So the interesting thing about his Ellen voice for 3 is very different than the voice that he used for book 1 and 2.
Okay.
Oops.
Yeah. He sounds more like Randall Thor near the end with Ellen as opposed to the Ellen Venture of book 1, who's but it's kind of interesting.
I don't have too much.
He actually sounds like Dalinar. He actually sounds like Dalinar in book the Dalinar voice in book 3 rather than Ellen Venture in book 1, which is interesting.
I mean, Ellen does have a lot of character growth, but not quite that much.
Yeah, considering like Dalinar is like a rock of a human being,
and also a fair amount older than Ellen is.
He's kind of. I think a lot of people would put Dalinar in the DILF category.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Like Navani is in the corresponding class.
And I'm kind of just like, and I'm kind of sad to like actually know that like Dalinar X Kaladin fanfiction exists.
Oh, ew!
Okay, done. So, are we having a competition for the fan fiction that we can possibly just know
He
exists.
obviously has a boner for Navani. Not
Well, that's the thing. Fan fiction
Fan
writers
fiction
don't
doesn't give a shit.
yeah. I mean,
Well, it could be worse.
Can we just talk about Calcia, please?
freaking Rule 34.
Imagine fan art. That would be terrible.
No!
Oh my god, can we not imagine the fan art? Can we get back to Calcia, please?
Yeah, please.
So yes. So Kelsier's final act is actually to die and then have his body resurrected by a Khandra shapeshifter.
The scene, oh god, when Vin yells out Calcia when he comes in, oh god. Oh Jesus Christ.
Ow.
It hurts so much. Mm.
Oh, cool. Thank you, Trailer. I was also thinking middle-aged lonely housewives.
Yeah.
Oh god. Calcia.
Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah, no. And this,
yelling, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. But also as a side note as well, as I've sort of like mentioned as in vague reference before now when we've not been doing spoilers, Calcia's death was the aforementioned thing that made me scream and throw the freaking book across the room and run around my house. Fucking hell! Oh my god! Was not happy. I nearly didn't pick it up again. I was so fucking pissed off.
Well, Kel was her mentor, so I was actually expecting him to die a lot sooner than he did.
Well,
but it got to the point where I was going, is Sanderson gonna break with tradition and actually make the mentor survive the first book?
See, I wasn't thinking in those terms. It was more that the method through which he dies is so it's perfect, but it's just horrifyingly tragic, and it's twisted as hell. It's also and in that moment it's brutal.
Yeah.
It's a teenage girl thing. I thankfully don't do it very often anymore.
No. I felt the same way when I was reading
Words of
think
Radiance.
it was Half-Blood Prince, actually.
Oh, okay.
I got to the middle of the book, shut it, and I nearly threw it across the room at the wall, going, this is bullshit. I can do better than that. And of course, this was let's see. This was when I was a teen at the time, yes. So, and it's like, yes, I am a better writer than J.K. Rowling, I think. And people have told me that I'm really good. So I just don't write Harry Potter.
Yeah, she got extremely lucky in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and then she had to go and ruin it all on social media.
Anyway.
Yep.
And with all the outside interviews going, this and this and this and this and this. It's not in the book, lady.
So, in terms of like the climax, Kelsier uses the fact that he is now this, or at least now that he's dead, he planned to use he'd been working on things behind the scenes for the whole book, getting ready for this moment, and to use himself as a deified figure to replace the Lord Ruler.
His poor brother, though. His
Yes.
brother became one of the Steel Inquisitors.
Yes.
Oh,
And
Marsh goes into the Steel Ministry and gets the obligator tats, and then he
um, what?
what?
Why? 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 Huh? I don't even know where to begin with that.
What?
The show. So let's keep going.
Okay,
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah,
let's just
let's
move
keep
on.
going. Yeah. But they find out from Marsh that there's a lot of weird things going on. But then when they go to meet him, they find a bunch of hacked up bodies all over the place.
Kel
And-
comes to the conclusion that they killed him.
And in reality, they recruited him.
Yeah. And Kel kind of jumped the gun there because of it. But at the same time, that was such an awesome end.
Yeah. So
Has hemalurgy been named yet?
no, that's 3. That's not
Okay.
until 3.
Okay, so essentially,
That's what that's
yeah.
the Steel Inquisitor's magic system. They're not Allomancers, not really.
Yeah, so basically, because Kelsier didn't know about the third magic system, yeah, he wouldn't know that what that would entail, and it makes sense. It's perfectly reasonable for them to walk in there and go, dead body, mangled. We are trying to overthrow the Lord Ruler. Yeah, probably him.
Marsh knew everything. They probably broke him at some point. So they probably know everything. We gotta step up our timetable.
Yeah. And I don't think it would have changed much if Kel had known what Marsh was actually going for, which was recruitment into the Steel Inquisitors.
Marsh wasn't going into it. Marsh didn't know that they were going to get didn't know he was going to get recruited until they grabbed him and started shoving the spikes into him.
Are you sure about that? Is that in the next book?
No, it's I think that it was actually I don't, since Marsh was never trying to, like, they didn't know what it takes to become a Steel Inquisitor.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So he just assumed like he would be an obligator, and also like they just like he knew that they were taking an interest in him because he's a seeker, or a misting that can burn bronze. And then the Inquisitors grabbed him and started shoving spikes in him.
Ugh.
Spikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is such a lovely book.
Yeah.
I call this book beautiful many, many times. But when you talk about this, you're like, it's really hard to explain to someone how that actually is a thing, but it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the most wholesome books I've ever read, and yet it is set in a post-apocalyptic world where violence is being done a lot.
Yeah.
How the hell is this wholesome?
Because Sanderson is Mormon. It's our superpower.
Turn post-apocalyptic horror into wholesomeness somehow.
Yeah, it's like, I wish I could write this well.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be kind of interested to kind of do a few comparison streams between like a bunch of like successful authors, because I'd love to compare Sanderson's writing to Martin and Abercrombie, and as well as Evan Winters, who's kind of an up and comer by comparison. But I still there's a lot of interesting stuff to compare there. Well,
Timothy Zahn is more sci-fi than fantasy, but I'm pretty sure we could probably add him to the mix.
yeah, I need to finish science fair and see what I can do about bumming off some credits from my mom. Yeah. So Vin goes to confront the Lord Ruler. She has the 11th medal, which Kelsier's been building up this whole time. And it turns out that this medal, when you burn it, does something, allows you to see a different version of another person. So when she burns it and looks at the Lord Ruler, she sees a herdsman guy.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because they found when they went on a journal and on a little raid on Lord Ruler's palace, they found a book that it seems to be written in a very eloquent style by a guy who is very well educated.
Only they find out that it's not the Lord Ruler who wrote it.
Yeah. And of course, this is the book that you get like little snippets from at the beginning of every chapter.
Yeah, I figured that out.
Yeah, and
like as soon as I think someone read a someone read a passage in the actual chapter. I went, oh, okay. So I've been hearing snippets from this book. Cool.
Yeah, I love that's one of the parts of particularly of like Mistborn 1, 2, and 3 that is just wonderful in how he really, really ties in the little opening passages with the book. It's very, very neat.
Yeah, he does the same.
Really wonderful.
Yeah, he does the same thing with Way of Kings. With dying messages, but
he does, but it's not as much of like a thing that gets rounded up neatly. In terms of like, by the end of this book, you know exactly what the point of those were. Same thing happens in book 2, and the same thing happens in book 3. Which I don't know, there's something aesthetically lovely about that. It's aesthetically lovely about with Stormlight as well, but in a way of more, I'll find this eventually, and this is going to be probably more of like a discovery thing, of a detective thing, than whereas this is very tight in the plot thing.
Yeah.
There are so many things that I am excited to show you or have you see your reaction to. Yeah, I think, let me see. I think I have it somewhere. Yeah.
We have such sights to show you.
Oh God! I mean, when I'm zooming through my reread of Mistborn, and once I'm at the end of the book, I can't wait to get back to Words of Radiance.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. I will give a slight hint. The same person who writes the book in Hero of Ages is writing one of the letters in Words of Radiance.
Oh, perhaps I should read Hero of Ages first before I continue it then.
Well, the thing is, the person that writes them is also in the other 2 books, and you'll notice when you listen to Words of Radiance, there are very unique dialogue patterns.
Yeah.
That it's hard to miss.
I actually think it just clicked in my head when you said that. Fuck! Oh God! Oh my God! Jesus Christ, I'm gonna be reading like a maniac now. That is the best plot twist. Oh my god. Oh my
And
god.
the nice thing is I didn't really spoil anything
No,
for
you didn't. You didn't. You did that very well done. Well done.
Yeah, I
It
definitely.
just got to the point where, oh, that's foreshadowing to this thing. Ooh, that's what just
Ooh,
happened.
shit. Oh god, Sanderson, I love you. That is amazing.
Yeah, it is. It really, really is.
Anyway,
I might be wrong. It might be Oathbringer. But either way, like at some point, like you will read a letter that is read by the same person.
Yeah.
fair enough. Okay.
I'm actually kind of sad that Vin said no. I don't want him in my employ. The shapeshifter.
Oh, it is Oathbringer. I was incorrect. The person being
Okay.
written to is a character that we've never met named Frost.
Oh damn. I got excited there, but
yeah. Well, but it will be Oathbringer. He will be this person is writing the same letters in yeah.
Oh god, I'm itching now. Damn it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Starlight Archives will be a riot for those who still do that. Yeah, the thing is, I'm down to do that. I'm just waiting. So, yeah. So, apparently he's an old reptile elsewhere in the Cosmere.
Huh.
And according to Dragon Steel, which is I think, yeah, who is this unintroduced character, supposedly, like, because like the old supposedly like this unpublished book called Dragon Steel, that was Brandon's like first book that I think he published as a senior thesis or something. Apparently there are dragons elsewhere in the Cosmere.
Oh.
I hope he gets
sentient.
around to editing it and actually publishing it.
He's planning on publishing it after, since there are stuff about an entity called Adonalsium in there that is going to function into both the greater story of Hero of Ages and Stormlight Archive.
Ooh. Nice.
I feel so happy being the dude with all the knowledge.
You know, I hadn't fucking noticed that shit. No, completely blown over my head.
Yeah,
Yep.
What I like about what they did with well, the Lord Ruler and Sazed are the same people.
Yes. Oh yeah, they're both terracemen, yeah.
Yeah, they're terracemen, and it was
yeah, so the Adonalsium, it's what do I say about Adonalsium? Well, it's not really a spoiler, I guess. I'll leave it to you guys to figure it out once you get finished with the last book, as well as the I think the end of Oathbringer.
Huh.
So hee-hee-hoo. But yeah, basically they figure out that the Lord Ruler is not God after all. That he's basically been using a trick.
Yeah, he was using feruchemy.
A combination of feruchemy and allomancy.
Yeah.
So that he could be able to Yeah, that ending was crazy.
Oh god, let's not tease us, please. Please.
I
Please
was gonna say,
don't.
yeah, I will. Well, I need to give you some encouragement to
Look,
read faster.
Like we're already teasing Mistborn spoilers at Neph. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
don't tease me, please. Please don't.
Yeah.
oh, I mean,
And
I
I'm
can
in the middle of
understand.
Words of Radiance, thinking that when I finish Words of Radiance, I'm gonna read book 2 of Mistborn,
Yeah.
because that works really well.
Yeah. So, yeah, and the neat thing is there is a thing in Secret Histories and the end of the end of the last Wax and Wane book that shows up at the very end of Words of Radiance.
Nice.
I am so pumped to just get through all of Mistborn again. Like to
Yeah.
get through Stormlight as well, but like with the context and with this is I remember my hands together. I'm just like, yes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's some cool interweaving stuff. And then Vin figures out that the Lord Ruler has been using, basically what he does is he stores up Bert. He will basically store up certain amounts of vitality, such as life force, and healing into his metal mines so that he can heal like Wolverine and live forever.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's just there is I won't spoil which book is in, but in the Wax and Wane books you get an example of another character who can do that, and they go into it way more because you get to explore it a little bit more, and
Oh, that sounds really cool. I can't wait to get there.
It's really cool.
Yeah, basically the idea is that you store the amount of the thing in a metal mind, and then you swallow the metal mind and burn it for an extra burst of power.
So
then you store it again into another metal mind.
Huh. Yeah.
It's like this infinite kind of
loop.
Yeah. It's funny as well. Like when I was reading Wax and Wane, it'd been a while since I'd read the original Mistborn, and I was like, I feel like I probably should have reread first because it was making sense, but it also wasn't. And I definitely think in the reread, the magic systems are gonna like converge a little bit better because there were bits I was like, I can't remember what this means. Fuck.
Thankfully, Wax and Wane is a very short read.
It is. I mean, they're wonderfully concise and they're weirdly small scale as well. Very very quaint, nice.
Yeah. And he definitely is very good at changing your perception of certain characters.
Oh god, yeah. It's very very good.
Yeah.
But we're on we're much earlier than this at the moment though.
Yep. And we do need to start wrapping up. Thankfully, we're almost finished.
Yeah.
And basically Vin figures out how to beat the Lord Ruler, and throughout the book, the mists have been something that seems to enhance allomancy, and somehow Vin, after a neat little after it's described that her earring goes out of her ear, and then she burns the mists and is able to pull the Lord Ruler's, after she runs out of metal, she's able to pull the Lord Ruler's gold metal mines off. And then the Lord Ruler just slowly begins to die.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yep.
And it's like, by the time she killed him, that was a mercy kill.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's also kind of a neat thing where Ellen Venture is able to kind of calm the Ska Rebellion and is able to kind of become like the king of Luthadel.
Oh, little Ellen. Well
Yeah,
done.
that was the perfect ending for him, actually.
Yep. Well,
And he gets the
Ending.
girl too.
yep.
Well,
And
ending because it's the end of the book.
Yeah.
yep. And Vin becomes, and then Vin and him start dating, and it's adorable.
Yes, it is.
Cute.
And since we're talking about spoilers, I can say this now. Her brother didn't actually run away. He
Was caught by the Steel Inquisitors.
yeah, he
and
was
tortured.
caught by the Steel Inquisitors, and they were grilling him to find her, but he wouldn't say a word.
Yeah, since her dad is basically the Pope of the Steel Ministry.
Mm.
And her dad gets slaughtered too.
Yeah.
In front of her, even.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, she didn't care about her dad since her.
Well,
dad
yeah,
basically left her
but
alone.
I would still.
It would still be disturbing. Yeah.
Yeah, it would still be disturbing and traumatic, even if you didn't care about the person they were doing it to.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, like the wonderful sort of
Yeah.
the guy who's been telling her the entire book, everyone's gonna betray you, didn't betray her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, we've already met Honor in Words of Radiance, and he's kind of a foreshadowing for certain other things.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Valerian, please stop teasing. Please.
Well, just wait. All will become clear, my children, in due course.
I thought I was the mum round here. How does that make sense?
Well, the thing is, I'm currently by virtue of having read all the books, I'm the
Lore keeper.
lore keeper / lore daddy, I guess.
The godfather of the law.
Yeah. The godfather of lore, capiche?
Oh my god. Fucking hell.
Yeah, anybody who can get that reference, I salute you, but you have consumed way too much stuff about a card game. Okay.
Oh.
Well, alrighty. Well, we'll kind of just say good book. This is really, really good book. This is an excellent heist book, and you should read it.
And it's written in such a way that you forget half the time that it is actually a heist book because there's no stealing going on.
Yep.
And it will shatter your soul into a million bajillion pieces. You will never be the same again. You will be sucked into an incredible series of heartbreak and torture and awfulness and sadness, and you won't know why you're reading it, but you'll love it.
Yep.
And you won't be able to stop.
Yep.
Real page turner.
Yep, indeed. Well, this has been fun, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
We must say goodbye.
Goodbye.